I routinely walk around Lowry Park and I met a writer and poet, Martin Kwame, who expressed that almost on a weekly basis, he would often see this older man walking 4 Austrian Terriers. Now, the funny thing about this story is that 3 of the dogs would always be running off in the distance, in the wild, in the open field, but this one particular terrier would always stay near its owner and run around him in a tight circle. One evening, Kwame finally stopped and asked this odd behavior. The owner went on to explain the backstory is that this dog has spent most of his life locked up in a cage, and as a result of that confinement, even though he was now free to run with the others, he continues to run in circles. The scriptures reveal to us that we are trapped and hopeless unless God rescues us. The psalmist often spoke of being afflicted by an enemy, entrapped and engaged by the snares of death coiled around him. You may read more about this story in Psalm 18, chapter 4-5 verse. Enclosed and shackled, this man cried out to God for help, and with a thundering power, God reached down and took hold of him and drew him out. Oh, what a story! So, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we should be reminded that from the earliest years of European settlement here in America, whites enslaved and oppressed Black people. Although the Civil War had accomplished its goal and finally brought about the abolition of slavery, but there still remains a harsh system of, as Dr. Frances Cress Welsing calls it in her 1970 essay, The Theory of Color Confrontation and Racism, White Supremacy. Well, back in the early 20th century, many African Americans, primarily in the South, as well as many parts of bordering states, were banned from associating with whites. And many institutions and public accommodations like schools, hospitals, nursing homes, restrooms, waiting rooms, railroad cars, hotels, restaurants, lunch counters, parks, beaches, swimming pools, libraries, concert halls, and movie theaters, just to name a few, all upheld these practices. But God, He has broken the chains that held us as people and released us from our cages, like the story of the 4 dogs. God can set us free and carry us into a spacious place, as mentioned in Psalm 18, chapter 19 verse. How sad it is when we keep running around in small circles, as if we're still confined in our old prisons. We no longer are bound by fear, shame, or oppression. God has rescued us from those cages of death. God, you set the captives free. Help me to truly believe it, because I want to be free in your spacious place. Thank you so much, and be blessed.